welcome to this week's podcast on tricks and tips of the week for Microsoft Office 2010. Now, this is a presentation of mywebinars.ca and CCNB, the DEP campus. So what are we going to be talking about this week? Well, we're going to be talking about using styles in Word 2010 in order to really improve your document layout, the consistency of the document, and to save time creating tables of content. Now, this is really underutilized, and I think and I hope at the end of this podcast that you will start using these different styles. So let's get started right away.
Okay, so first of all, most people change fonts and font sizes by the options that there are in the group called fonts, and that's all right. If you're creating a small document, there's no problem with using changing the fonts in that way, or the size like that. Unfortunately, when you're looking at creating a big document, this is a problem, because trying to remember which font, what size you used at every heading, on every heading and whatnot, causes you a lot of problems, because you complete a 20-page report or a document of 4 or 5 pages, and often you have multiple fonts, multiple sizes, and really the document doesn't look consistent at all. So what is recommended for most documents is that you start right off the bat with the styles, which appear right here in the right hand section of the first on your ribbon, in your home ribbon. So I'm going to show you how to use that. Let's look at the first title. Really, Contact Center Supervision here is the title of my document. So let's say I want to use a heading which is the title of my document. Oh, I'm sorry, I changed part of that. There you go. Let's go back here. If I just go to normal, there you go. If I go from normal to title, there you go. So that is the heading called title in my styles. The second row here is a major heading for that section of my document. So I want to use heading 1 for that. Now let's go down further, and I'm going to find my next heading 1, my next heading that I want exactly the same size as this one. So I find down here benefits. So if I click here, I can click heading again. So you see that this heading is the same size as that heading. Now another way to do this, and I'm just gonna go back here, is I can use my little paintbrush here. So if I double click on my little paintbrush, it copies the format. So I select benefits. As you can see here, heading 1 is the format that is copied. So I'm going to go down a little further, and I'm going to find another another heading that I want exactly at the same type of heading. Here I have 8 webinars to this program. So in this document I have 3 heading 1s. Now let's go to heading 2 now, which is a second level of heading. So in orders of importance, heading 1 is more important, then it's heading 2, then heading 3, then heading 4, of course. Makes sense. So this line here, I want a heading 2. I'm going to double click on my format painter, and I'm going to go to my next heading 2, which is how is a certificate in supervision earned. And then finally, at the completion of this program, participants will. So I want those to have the same level of importance as far as heading is concerned. Now the same thing underneath here. in 8 webinars in this program, I want all of the names of these seminars to be a heading 2. So I'm going to click here, as you can see, heading 2. Double click here my painter, and I'm going to go to all of my different titles of seminars to make sure that they all have a heading 2 format. Seminar 6, Seminar 7, and Seminar 8. That's it. And finally, I want to use a heading 3. I'm going to go to my first seminar and click heading 3. Double click on that and heading 3, heading 3, heading 3, heading 3, 3, 3, and finally 3. There you go. So I have the title. If I scroll all the way up, I have the title, which is here. I have heading 1, which is here, and here, and these are heading 2s. Heading 2, heading 2, heading 2, and these are heading 2s. And these are heading 3s. So as you can see, I was able to create a little bit of consistency in my document using these styles. Now let's say I want to change these styles. I can just go to my change style option, and you can see how we can completely change. I used elegant style here, and I can change my document look just by changing the new set preferences, which are in the style change styles option here. So I can really play around with it and change the different styles, and it programs or modifies my document per the style that I have selected. I can also change the colors. And nowadays, most of our documents we send by email and are only read on in the email attachment, or people are less and less printing these documents. So using color in our documents is becoming more and more popular. At one point, really, who cares if you had color, because most people would just print them off on a black and white printer. But nowadays, people are using these a lot more as electronic documents. So using color is quite useful if you're trying to really provide an information with that is really appealing. So the next thing I'm going to show you is the combination of fonts. You can change the combination of fonts just from this area as well, as you can see. So you've got quite a few options here that are really useful to program your or to do the layout for your document. Now another option that's very important, and the use of styles is very useful in this way. Let's say I'm going to insert a page here at the top of my document. So my first page is now a blank page. I want to show you how easy it is to add a table of content when you have used the styles. So I go to my reference ribbon, and first option here is table of content. If I click one of these, let's say automatic 2, you see how a table of content has been created with all of my different headings that I have selected. The 1s, the 2s, the 3s. So they all appear here, and would you imagine how long this would take me if I were doing this manually? And every time I had a modification in my document and my page changed, a particular part of a paragraph would change pages, I'd have to go back to my table of content to make sure that all the pages are in line with the titles that the headaches that people go through instead of using styles. It's a wonder that we still don't have more people using the style. So that's it for today. So thank you very much for this for listening to this podcast, and we'll see you next week. Thank you for watching this week's podcast on tricks and tips in Office 2010. Just a reminder to check out our website, mywebinars.ca, for all upcoming webinars. We have some coming on transitioning from Office 2003 and 2007 to 2010. And we also have other themes than just Microsoft Office stuff. We have unhappy and upset customers, how to deal with those people. And we also have a really great mini-series on insights discovery, personal effectiveness. If you've never participated in a insights discovery session, it's really worthwhile. It's a great tool for you to help you learn a little bit more about yourself, learn about others, and how to adapt your style to other people's personalities. So thank you very much once again, and we'll see you next week.